guys, it's Tim with Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and we are here with a really cool interview. We've got Shannon, the creator of the Mark Out. I guess I'm going to go off the full name it says on your Twitter. Mark Out, the digital wrestling card game. This is a cool wrestling card game. We've seen other wrestling card games in the past, but what I like that I've seen about this one is, yeah, like you say we've got WWE Supercard, where you see the cards actually wrestling. But what I like about your game is that you play your card and then the wrestlers in the game actually do the movements. What made you want to do it that route instead of maybe, and I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of my butt right now, go the easier route of just having the cards do the animations?
Okay, so ironically, I don't know if it's an easier route. I think it's all just based on whoever's doing it, because I actually don't know how I would implement cards doing wrestling moves. It would require a lot more. The game did not originally start as a card game. It actually started as a digital action figure, 3D, or what do you call it? Stop animation. You could actually build, I built probably 5 or 6 different 3-dimensional action figures of wrestlers, and I made a system where I could pose them, and then I could set the animation for that frame and then play it out and watch the 3D animated action figures wrestle as if you were doing stop motion with real action figures. And that's where the system originally came from. I realized that this system could be much more, and I could actually use it in the video game. I just took those same mechanics, and then I realized how I had to do a lot of thinking of how I could make it work in a wrestling game. And the idea for a card game came from different influences, and eventually it just meshed. It was like peanut butter and jelly for me. It really just made sense when you took the card element, where it was more strategic. You had to think about what cards you want to use, what cards you want to collect, but then it also took elements of seeing the damage and just the violence and technical prowess that wrestling could provide. So you would see yourself throw out, let's say, an arm drag, and then see the arm drag animate. And the animation style was something completely unique, because I hadn't seen it done yet. So it really felt special to Mark Out, because of the way the wrestlers were animated.
That's interesting that you say it started off as like an action figure more type thing. What was it that led you to shift from the action figure to the card game base of it?
It was hard for me to gain the substance with the action figures. One big thing was the likeness. I knew if I went the action figure route, I would want to get some type of wrestling license, like an AEW license or a WWE license for the figures, and I couldn't see that happening at the moment. And since I couldn't see that happening, it really took a lot of the appeal of an action figure away from me, because it felt like the action figures wouldn't be as special. I think that's part of the allure of the action figures, is the fact that this person is a special condition, a special edition version of this specific wrestler. And I think the generic wrestlers just wouldn't have done as well had I done the action figures. So as I tried to figure out different ways for me to still keep that same system, I actually just created. I don't know if you've seen it, and actually you have seen it. If you've seen any of the Mark Out promotional art, you see those wrestlers with no faces.
What they call in the WWE games vacant.
Right, like a vacant wrestler. And the game was going to have the wrestlers, every wrestler in the game was just going to be vacant up until a week before the game drop.
Okay.
And week before the game drop, I had a bunch of different people come test the game, like game developers, people who just create wrestlers and games, like different people, hackers. And I just said, play the game. Let me know what you think. And they played the game. And while they were playing the game, I realized that they didn't really feel connected to any of the wrestlers, especially their wrestler and their career mode. It was just really, to me, it was boring just looking at it. So I tried to figure out different ways to go about adding faces. And now faces are in the game. You actually have wrestlers in the game. And I was in the midst of doing some work on that. I'm actually reapproaching that system altogether for the creative wrestlers. So it'll have a lot more depth and it'll look a lot better. But yeah, that's how we went all the way from action figures all the way to what it is right now. It was very.
And that was going to be my question about, we've seen all the promotional stuff and on the Steam page and whatnot, it's got just the blank face wrestlers. So is it You said that you can create a wrestler. Is it going to be that you create your own wrestler and then you go from there, or will it be other wrestlers or other faces in the game that you're facing off against as well?
Game you face off against other wrestlers right now.
Okay.
So when I like the night before, I literally worked on this game until the second I released it. I'm still working on it, but the night it released, I created I think 15, 12 or 15 original, like 100% original wrestlers. Those are in the game now, and they will be in the game when I release the update. However, I reached out to a couple of wrestlers from Michigan, where I was originally from, and just bringing them into the game as well. So that should. Oh, I'm sorry when I talk too much.
Not a problem.
When those Michigan wrestlers, it'll take the number up to about 30. And with the creator wrestler mode, I actually integrated Steam Workshop. So there are calls right now of Darby Allin and Sting and Edge and all of these different wrestlers. And it's only like 4 hairstyles in the game right now, but people made it happen. And it's just amazing because the is limitless. Like you'll really be able to add so much content, so many wrestlers into the game and have a lot of fun.
And that was another question I was going to ask, if there were going to be any community-based things in the game for them to create wrestlers, or maybe even, and I don't know if you would even think about this, maybe create your own cards and stuff as well. I don't know.
I don't want any creative features in the game outside of creative wrestling. I always hated the creative modes. I feel like they ruined the game. It's like I'm joking. I'm joking. All of these, that was my strongest feature to focus on, was the creative suite, because I actually was a creator for what SmackDown versus Raw 2000 and to WWE 14, 2K14. I was an avid creator. I created arenas, I created wrestlers, I created everything. So I really wanted to provide that platform to keep my game going. We've seen how it kept WWE 2K19 alive the past 2 or 3 years. So it's definitely important. So creative wrestler is what I'm addressing right now. The last creative feature I added a couple weeks ago, and the game's only been out for a month, 2 days ago, a month. But I added in creative promotion. So you can go in and you can create your own promotion with custom textures. You can create pay-per-view events and everything like that. Choose an arena. Another mode that I added was create a card. So that's actually in the game now. You can go in. You could create your own poses. So you can go in and literally pose out a move. I think I allowed 10 slots for poses, so you can lose your mind. And this is all in games. This is all built into the game. You just go to the mode and create a pose, and then you could take poses either that I've created or poses that you've created or a mixture, and you can create a new card from it. And when you create that card, you can upload that to the Steam Workshop so other people can download your move, or you can just add it to your decks. So yeah, that's all in there right now. And in another creative mode where I didn't really see this in many games at all, if I can be honest, but create a match where you can spot by spot. You just choose what wrestler is going to do what, and then you put it in sequence order of what you want to do, and watch it happen. Save it and watch it. And the next creative mode, like I know it's a lot, but it's happening. Like it's in the game, so it's pretty cool to really talk a lot about these things, and you can do it now. But the next feature is going to be creating arena. That's one of my favorite modes in any game, is creating a venue, creating some environment. So that's something I did start working on, but I had to hop on to something else, so I had to kind of put it off a little bit. But that's coming up next, and those will be my creative pillars that will be the main focus of the game.
Right. So you said that the game came out a month ago, 2 days. It's on Steam Early Access right now. And how long were you actually working on this before it did go out, like you said, on August 22nd or 26th?
On a wrestling game of some sort since 2015.
Oh, wow.
I was 19 at the time, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of hair, I would say. And I really was trying to figure out what I needed to do to bring my vision to life. I made a couple side projects. I worked for a company making games. And then eventually in 2019, I came back around to this concept that it is now, like middle of 2019, right after I graduated from college. And on the concept of Markout as it is as a card game right now, dedicated, I started this right when COVID hit, which was around March. So March of 2020 till August 26th, I was working on it dedicated as a wrestling card game.
Awesome. And again, you said it says that the game's in early access. So for us that aren't really inept with game development, how long do you see it being in early access before you put out that version 1.0?
I know I put on the actual store page 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
That was me being generous to myself. I don't want to really. I'm going to hopeful date out. I would hope that I could have a 1.0 out within a year. I'm not going to say it's impossible because just within the past month, I've added so many features into the game, such as 3 new match types I added recently, which were tables match, hardcore match, first blood match, added in blood, which was never in the game, revamped all of the main core systems of the game, such as the reversal system was revamped. The momentum system is being revamped now. The energy system was 100% revamped. The spirit system was revamped. Now there are individual body part spirit meters, which we didn't have a spirit meter in the game at first. It was really just one area. So everything is being reworked so fast that I would not hesitate to say that in a hopeful space, everything goes as I hoped it to go. That see a 1.0 within a year, and that would really be amazing because it's but when I set goals, I like to do my best to try to hit them, and I definitely feel like that's a goal that I can put for myself. And
So you told me when I first reached out that you're the sole creator of this game, but you keep saying we. How many people do you actually have helping you on this game itself?
it's interesting because I'm the only one actively developing the game. But if
Okay.
you go to the credits section of the game, you'll see different freelance artists that I've worked with for different things. So I have Rich Baker. I can't list everybody because it's a nice list. I think probably about 20 people now. But I
Nice.
have Rich Baker. He did all of the art backgrounds for the cards, the card backs. I have Defract and Get Wreck Labs. They did the UI base and then sent it to me. And Gagdol with different things. With Ultraviolent Wrestling, he's helped me out with different things. So it's been so many different people involved. But also, when I say we, I'm talking about the community of Markout. It really feels like a family because when I was going through the different times in life, I lost my job. I've had a baby during this entire process. I've gotten married during this entire process. Everything has been involved with the community. I was constantly streaming on Twitch development. I remember one day we did a 24-hour stream. It was right after I lost my job, and I was like, I'm like, I need to get this game out. It was a 24-hour stream, and I had people just hopping in, showing support. People give me feedback. I have people who amazingly find bugs. Like as soon as I release an update, somebody would say, "Hey, this is broken." I can go in, and I can fix it, and I definitely feel like it's a team effort. Even though I'm the only one actively developing the game, it's definitely a team effort. And when I say we, that's why I get caught up saying we versus us sometimes.
That's awesome that you're really taking all of that feedback from not only the other people that are helping you with like the art and stuff, but the community as well. Because like we all know as creators of anything, creators in whether it's video games or video or any kind of content, it's always great to have user feedback because you sometimes may think something's good, but other people may think it's bad. So I do really like that you're taking all that user feedback as well from people that have played the game.
And I made the game for them at the end of the day. As much as I would love to say I just made the game I wanted to play, there were times where I felt like I wouldn't want to play the game. I just didn't feel like it was fun. But I couldn't put my finger on what it was that was causing it not to be fun. And that's one of the harder things when you are developing something and you're really the only person seeing it constantly. You don't know what it is that's off. You just know you don't like it. And I'm a perfectionist, so I often hate my work. Like many times when the game was first being developed and I was really, really early, I released a completely free version of the game. It was ugly as crap. None of the UI was good. I designed everything and I hated it. But I gave it out. Gave me honest feedback, and it wasn't negative feedback where it was sucks. It was back as to how many cards I should add to the hand, what types of cards I should have, different things like that. And even recently, last week, I have in the Discord that you just hopped into. I have a general ideas section, and when I think of ideas, I take my ideas and first put them there, and I ask, "What do you all think of this?" So one of the ideas I have is to use the wrestler type. So if you're a submission specialist or a powerhouse or a high flyer, how should that affect the match? And I put that idea, the concept I had in the chat, and instantly people were on it. They were like, "Hey, we like this, but try this. Maybe we want to change this. Maybe we want to do it like this." And that helps me feel more confident when I do go to apply those changes. And like I said, I made this game for the people to play it, and I'm loving the feedback so far.
That's really awesome to hear. Again, like all the feedback you're taking, and not just like you said, making the game you want, but you're making the game that people would also want to play as well. It's really, really cool. Just looking here again on the Steam page, it's got all the different things here. It says 100 plus collectible cards. And what I do like, because a lot of people that talk about wrestling, they always go from rookie to legend. But I like your verbiage, go from rookie and leave as a GOAT. I like how you make it a little different than other people. Because everyone always says leave as a legend or a Hall of Famer, but you got to throw in their GOAT. I like that.
I will give credit to Viking Size Gamer, who he was really, really big in the creative. He came in at the tail end because I needed somebody to help me with social media. As you can tell, I'm horrible on social media. I hardly post, and when I post, it's me taking my phone and taking a picture like of the TV screen. Like I just suck at it. So I said I need a community manager, and long story short, he reached out. We talked, and he came up with different ideas. And when I made the Steam page, he kept telling me, he's like, make the Steam page, make the Steam page. I made. He was like, changes your verbiage to this. He sent me that, and I put that in after he sent it to me. But definitely, I love the GOAT. I love the GOAT because that is a common phrase here in the wrestling community. In any community, it's really become more common recently. But in wrestling games, or you really hardly see it as a measuring stick, and that is the highest card rarity in the game. Is
Oh, cool.
A GOAT card. So that's something I'm readdressing as well before the reset, which will be the end of the year, where I go back in and I re-rank all of the cards in the game, the rarities, how strong they are, and rebalance them. And the GOAT cards will be the cards to get. Look.
Awesome. So, and you just said something there that kind of interests me. You said you're going to go back in at the end of the year, rebalance all the cards and stuff like that. Is that something you want to try to do often, once a year? Or is that just you're just doing that because it's an early access, you're trying just to figure things out? Or could that be something where, hey, every so often some cards may get changed to, oh, now they're more powerful, maybe now they're less powerful, kind of like a year-to-year roster adjustment?
Definitely that. It's like a mix of both. So the big reset I'm doing at the end of the year is a one-time thing. And this is because since the game has been released, there are different things, different mechanics that are required of the cards, and they work in different ways. Systems to create cards work in different ways. And I want to level the playing field for everybody coming into the game, everybody that's been in the game. But what I'm using right now, the time I'm using for the game right now is to test out the cards that are there, test out the mechanics, see if they feel good. And then the plan is to consistently flood, pop in new cards, rebalance cards, maybe cards are being used like the super kick. I'm sure in 2005 that the super kick was going to be one of the most used wrestling moves in professional wrestling. So whereas that card might have been more rare at the time, now it shouldn't be a rare card because everybody can use. It's used as a transitional move, just like the Canadian Destroyer. That's not a card that should be rare to me. That's a card that is a common card versus the Panama Sunrise or Panama Sunshine. Or
Yeah, you're right. Sunrise. You're right. Sunrise.
But Panama Sunrise, that card is rarer than the Canadian Destroyer, even though the move itself is essentially the same, just coming off top rope. Second rope. It's a lot more rare because you can only name really two wrestlers that I could think of in recent memory, and they're both together who do that move.
Right.
And that's really the thought process that I'm coming to with the move. So I do think it'll be an ever-evolving thing. And I apologize if my internet
Oh, you're
skips. I
fine.
just realized it's another interview. It's the internet connection here at the hotel. But yeah, I definitely think that as I go along, these cards will be adjusted. And it'll be fun. Honestly, I think it's gonna be fun because you might have a card that you didn't value at first, and now that card might just be one of the rarest things, like an arm drag. That might become an actual rare card one day because you might not use it as often. And
Right.
that's what I want to base the card usage off of, the rarity off of.
So the one last thing I wanted to ask you about this game was multiplayer modes. Is there any multiplayer? Is there online multiplayer? I know on the Steam page here it does say online PvP. Exactly what is that right now, and what are you looking for that to be in the end?
Now you can go in and have a one-on-one match online. It has New Legacy Inc. by chance.
Yes.
Actually went and played the game on Twitch. They played for like 4 or 5 hours. It was really dope to watch them play. And they were some of the first players to actually test out the multiplayer mode. But currently, if I were to go in and start up a match and you were in the game, you could join my match. You could choose your deck, choose your wrestler. You could use your custom cards, and we would go head to head. And it would play out just like any other match you have in the game. The future for that mode, too much thought into it, but I definitely want it to be a bit more competitive. And I'm not sure, like, I always want it to be a co-op thing and competitive in different ways where one way it might be competing against somebody. Like one mode might be competing to see who can win the match. And then I might have another competitive field, which would be who can put on a better match. And that would be something that you would cooperate between two people. That's something that I literally just thought of right now. So I haven't laid any groundwork for it, but I think that would actually be dope to see if we went on. Could we put on a better match than the New Legacy guys? Could we put on a better match than, let's say, if Daniel Bryan and CM Punk randomly played the game and they went head to head? Could we have a better match than them? And I think this is all. I could use my match crafter. I have a match crafter I just told you about, and that could come into play with that competitive mode. Actually, that'd be really dope. So, yeah, ideas come every single day. Is one of the most exciting things about developing this game is I don't have a publisher saying you can't add this, you can't add this. I really can just, if I have an idea, it makes sense, I pitch it, and I have time, and it doesn't throw too many things off. I can just go in and add that, and it really does feel satisfying when you add a mode and you see people enjoy the mode, and it motivates you to do more. So
That's really right, and that's really awesome to hear that you're always thinking of new ideas, trying to get new things going, and even during this interview, just thinking of stuff that, oh, hey, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try that. That's really cool. But again, the game just came out in early access on Steam on August 26th. Is there anything throughout the rest of 2021 that we can maybe be looking forward to for this game?
So as I mentioned earlier, the reset is going to be probably the biggest event of the game because it'll wipe the saves that you have as far as the cards you've collected. And I do have the disclaimer in the game. So at the top of the menu screen, you will always see it just as a reminder that this is just a testing phase. The second biggest thing I would say would be the match types. I really started having fun with the match types recently when I added the new body damage system. That opened things wide up. So now I think that'll be pretty fun. Cards. So if you take, for instance, if you take a ladder and you have, I'm trying to think of a compatible card, Canadian Destroyer, you can put those two cards together and you can do a Canadian Destroyer off a ladder. And then even just pay attention to the hidden ones. You can take that card that you just merged together with a modifier, and you can do a Canadian Destroyer off a ladder through a table. So that's something that's pretty fun. So really look out for the weapon moves I'm adding in, the new match types. And then the creative suite. I really, 2021, what month is this? End of September. I can really see the Creating Arena mode being released hopefully next month. That's my goal, is to get it out in October. And if that happens, this game are going to be insane because I'm going to be in there as well. And I'm going to be making some fun, wacky, crazy stuff. And Yeah, I think those are the biggest things that you should look forward to in this game in 2021.
That's cool to hear that the game's going to be ever evolving and we're just going to keep getting more content for this game. So if people wanted to support the game in any way, what are some ways maybe they can do that?
The number one way right now is purchasing the game. I actually don't have microtransactions in the game at all.
Okay.
So it isn't a pay to win. Every card you get, you earn. So that's a way to support the project monetarily. The second biggest way is sharing the game. So if you are on Twitter, if you are on Facebook, Instagram, just word of mouth, just tell people about Markout. Tell people it's a new game on the rise. It's created by somebody who loves wrestling, somebody who is really loving to put this game together. Like, I have fun putting the game together, and I'm open to ideas. Leave reviews. So if you play the game, please leave a review on Steam. That helps the algorithm out. Right now, fingers crossed, nothing changes before the interview drops, but we are sitting at 31 out of 31 positive reviews,
Awesome.
100%, which is insane to me because I didn't know if people would like the game at all. This was something that came out the back of my head one day. So consistently leaving reviews, getting active in the forums, because I do read the forum messages. I respond to every single one that I can. Hop in the Discord when you can. And yeah, I mean, that's a lot of support there. So if you can do those things, we'll be on our way. And really all I can ask for, just the patience as well. If you do support the game, please patience with me. This is not a full-time gig. I have a 9 to 5, and this is something I do on the side. So the patience as I work through the kinks of the game and really try to make the game fun for you all is definitely appreciated.
Nice. Well, I want to say thank you for talking with me today about this game. It looks very, very cool. I can't wait to jump in and really get in there myself. How can they follow you on social media? I know I've got the name down there, but what other ways, how can they all follow you as well?
Number one way is on Twitter, which is
Okay.
MarkoutCCG. I am on Instagram, but I never post. I really need to get better with this. I do, but I'm busy working on the game. I have to find time. I'm getting my Instagram name. Okay, so my Instagram name is Markout Wrestling Game.
Okay.
All word. So Markout Wrestling Game. No underscores, no spaces, just Markout Wrestling Game. And and if you want to find the game on Steam, you can type in Markout, 2 separate words on Steam, and it should be the first game that pops up, hopefully, and it'll be Markout the Wrestling Card Game.
Awesome. We'll put all those links in the description below. Again, I want to say thank you for joining me today to talk about the game. Can't wait to jump in myself and see what I think about it, stream it, let everybody else see it, and spread the word.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for your time. If you listen to this interview, thank you for your ears, and I'll talk to you all soon, or see you all soon, or just hopefully influence you all soon with the game.
Awesome. All right, guys. Remember, it's Markout the Wrestling Card Game. You can get it right now on Steam. It is an early access. Go play it. It looks like a blast. I can't wait to play it myself.